You are here because a force greater than coincidence chose this exact moment for you. This is not a random click or an idle scroll. There is a call echoing beyond logic, a call for the chosen one to rise, to understand that waiting is over. The wait has ended. The universe is aligning because your faithfulness has activated the impossible. Every silent night, every private tear, every existential doubt has been raw material forging spiritual gold within your spirit. You did not merely survive the valley, you built pillars of indestructible authority right there. No record was forgotten. Every pain and every victory was written in the ledger of eternity. In this season, the chosen name is yours, no other. You are the starting point. The crown does not rest on those who merely observe. It rests on those who crossed fire without losing hope. Now the dates signal the beginning. November 8th, financial doors swing open, contracts arrive, new resources flow. November 9th, spiritual clarity breaks through, mental fog dissipates, divine fire fills the heart. November 10th, the atmosphere around you shifts, relationships and environments are purified. Not only are you transformed, but the context surrounding you is redrawn, adapted for your growth. You are no longer called to wait at locked doors. The key has been delivered. Delay and neglect are recalculated. The now is irrefusable. You enter no longer only with hope, but with heavenly guarantees. The reward is not limited to private blessings. It culminates in public exaltation. All will see what favor looks like when won through authenticity. If these words are landing for you, there is a clear way to move forward without getting scattered. Prosperity revealed in 3 dimensions. It is a simple and profound path designed to help you bring order to the noise, return to your center, and act with clarity. You can explore it in reading or listening, whatever fits your life right now. Everything is in the pinned comment and in the description. Take the time that feels right, and now let us come back to the heart of our exploration. The text urges you to abandon distractions and stay alert, because there is no more time for dispersion. The urgency of the moment demands discipline, demands awareness. Old habits, fears, and indecisions have no place in the new cycle. It is now or now. The universe invites the leap, invites you to assume the posture of one who knows they were born to lead cycles, not to repeat them. Then comes the ancestral revelation. Your tears carry the seeds of generations. Your victories ripple through the destinies of your entire bloodline. The past was context. Now, you are the protagonist. The burden of almost becomes fuel for now. Justice is radical. Everything that was lost will be restored double. Doors that closed, opportunities that seemed distant, everything is reallocated. Favor circulates because you persevered. The universe does not crown those who sought shortcuts, but those who cross deserts with the faith of ones called to change atmospheres. On the spiritual plane, a metamorphosis emerges. You stop being merely the one who responds to crises. You are the one who provokes change. The crown is placed on the survivor who became a leader, capable of carrying glory and not just responsibilities. The reward, marked on celestial calendars, arrives as a downpour, a flood of abundance, healing, clarity, and alignment. Understand, the survival cycle is over. The manifestation cycle has begun. Your name is in the eternal archives, engraved as the answer to the cries of generations. You are not just blessed, you are manifested legacy. And the greatness of what is coming is not just blessing, but reinvention of the very story itself. Leave behind everything that no longer fits. Enter with courage, posture, and gratitude. Waiting was part of the training. The reward is the fruit of preparation. But there is a detail we almost always overlook, and this is where the true power lives. Not in the grand gesture, not in the perfect moment, but in the quiet decision to stop performing and start inhabiting. What if the reason the reward feels delayed is not because the universe withheld it, but because you were not yet standing in the place to receive it? What if alignment is not something you chase, but something you embody? Think about the mountain. The mountain does not justify its presence. It does not argue. It simply remains. And in that stillness, its authority is felt for miles. The same is true for you in this season. You are no longer required to prove yourself. The proof is in the survival, in the scars that turned to wisdom, in the choices you made when no one was watching. Research suggests that sustained periods of adversity can actually rewire the brain, strengthening areas associated with resilience, emotional regulation, and decision-making. In clinical practice, it is often observed that individuals who endure meaningful challenges develop a psychological flexibility that serves them long after the challenge ends. This is not speculation. This is the biology of becoming. And yet, biology alone does not explain what is happening now. There is a spiritual authority being conferred on you, a mantle that cannot be earned by force or rushed by ambition. It is placed by unseen hands on those who remained when others walked away, on those who prayed in silence, on those who asked questions without demanding immediate answers. November 8th marks the opening of financial doors. This is not symbolic, it is actual. Contracts, opportunities, connections that felt frozen will begin to move again. But this time, you will not chase, you will choose. Because the shift is not just in the circumstance, it is in your posture. November 9th brings spiritual clarity. The fog that clouded discernment will lift. You will see the map, not just the next step. Divine fire will fill the heart, not as emotion but as conviction. You will know what belongs and what does not. You will act accordingly. November 10th transforms the atmosphere. Relationships that drained you will either shift or exit. Environments that kept you small will no longer feel tolerable. You are being repositioned, and the space around you is being recalibrated to match your new frequency. This is not wishful thinking. This is alignment on a level that requires both surrender and readiness. The universe does not reward hesitation. It rewards preparation paired with faith. If this is resonating with you, consider subscribing so you do not miss what unfolds next. Each episode builds on the one before, and the clarity you are seeking often comes in layers, not all at once. Now, let us talk about the part no one prepares you for, the loneliness of the chosen. Not the loneliness of isolation, but the loneliness of outgrowing the familiar. When you shift into a higher frequency, certain voices stop making sense. Certain invitations no longer appeal. You begin to move differently, speak differently, see differently. And not everyone will understand. This is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is right. The caterpillar does not bring its old skin into the cocoon. The seed does not carry the shell into the bloom. Transformation requires release, and release often feels like loss before it feels like freedom. In neuroscience, this discomfort has a name: cognitive dissonance. It occurs when old patterns clash with new awareness. The brain resists, the heart hesitates, but the spirit knows, and in this season, the spirit leads. The call on your life is not generic, it is specific. You were chosen not because you were the strongest, but because you were the most faithful. Not because you had all the answers, but because you kept asking the right questions. Not because you never fell, but because you got up every single time. Your tears were not wasted. They watered seeds you could not yet see. Your prayers were not ignored. They built altars in unseen realms. Your faithfulness was not in vain. It became the foundation of your authority. And now that authority is being activated, not in the ways you imagined, not on the timeline you preferred, but in the way that only the divine can orchestrate, perfectly timed, deeply intentional, undeniably yours. The ancestors you never met are watching. The generations that will come after you are depending on the choices you make now. You are not just living your own story. You are rewriting the narrative for an entire lineage. The curse stops with you. The breakthrough begins with you. The legacy is born in you. This is the weight of being chosen, and this is the glory. Leave a like if this is speaking to something real in you. It helps this message reach others who are ready to hear it. The algorithm is a tool, and we can use it with intention. But what does it actually look like to step into this new season? How do you carry glory without collapsing under the weight? How do you walk in authority without becoming arrogant? How do you steward blessing without losing your center? It begins with breath, not metaphorically, literally. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale slowly through the nose. Feel the breath descend all the way to the belly. Hold it for 3 counts. Then exhale gently, letting the day loosen its grip. Do this 3 times. Now ask one simple question. What wants to be born in me today? Do not force an answer. Do not perform. Just listen. The still, small voice does not shout. It whispers, and it only speaks to those who pause long enough to hear. This is the practice of the chosen, not loud declarations, not performative spirituality, but quiet, consistent alignment with what is true, with what is real, with what is yours. Several studies indicate that breathwork activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs rest, repair, and clarity. In as little as 90 seconds, intentional breathing can shift you out of fight or flight and into a state of presence. This is not magic. This is physiology meeting spirit. And when you pair breath with intention, something even more powerful happens. You begin to co-create with the divine. You stop reacting to life and start responding from center. You stop being tossed by circumstance and start anchoring in truth. This is the difference between the chosen and the called. Many are called, few actually answer, and even fewer stay long enough to be changed by the process. You have stayed. And that is why the reward is coming now. Turn on notifications if you want to stay connected to this journey. The next message may be the one that unlocks what you have been asking for. Now, let us go deeper into what November 8th, 9 and 10 actually represent. These are not arbitrary dates. They are thresholds, portals, points of divine intersection where preparation meets opportunity and favor meets readiness. November 8th is the day of open doors, but not just any doors. The ones you stopped knocking on because the silence was too loud, the ones you released because you refused to beg, the ones that seemed permanently closed, those doors. On November 8th, the lock breaks, the hinges move, and what was sealed becomes accessible. But here is the key. You must be willing to walk through. You must be willing to leave the hallway of waiting and enter the room of receiving. And that requires trust. Trust is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward even when the outcome is not guaranteed. It is stepping into the unknown because the known no longer fits. It is saying yes before the details are clear. And this is exactly what the universe is asking of you now. Will you trust? Will you move? Will you receive? November 9 is the day of clarity. The mental fog that made every decision feel heavy will lift. You will see with fresh eyes. You will feel with a clear heart. You will know, without needing to be convinced, what belongs and what does not. This is not confusion masquerading as peace. This is true discernment. The kind that comes from alignment with source, the kind that cuts through noise and lands on truth, the kind that makes the next step obvious, even if the entire path is not yet visible. Evidence indicates that moments of clarity often follow periods of intense questioning. The brain requires both effort and rest to integrate information. When you stop forcing and start trusting, the insight you were chasing often arrives on its own, and on November 9th, that insight will not come as a whisper, it will come as a knowing. a deep, unshakable certainty that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you are called to do. Divine fire will take hold of your heart, not as emotion but as conviction, not as hype but as holy confidence. You will stop second-guessing. You will stop apologizing. You will stop shrinking, and you will start leading. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the message is not just for you. Sometimes you are the bridge. November 10th is the day of atmospheric shift. This is when the environment around you begins to reflect the transformation within you. Relationships recalibrate, dynamics shift, old patterns lose their grip. You will notice it first in the small things. Conversations that used to drain you will either become life-giving or naturally end. Spaces that felt heavy will feel lighter. People who once had access will no longer feel aligned, and it will not require force. It will simply happen. This is what it looks like when your frequency changes. The universe does not allow misalignment to persist. It removes what does not serve. It attracts what does, and it does so with a precision that only the divine can orchestrate. But you must be willing to let go. You must be willing to release the familiar in order to make room for the aligned. You must be willing to trust that what is leaving is making space for what is coming. This is the sacred exchange, the divine trade, the holy reset. And it begins on November 10th. Tell me in the comments, which of these 3 days speaks to you most? I read every single one, and your insights shape what comes next. Now let us talk about the deeper work. The internal recalibration that no one sees, but everyone will eventually feel. Because here is the truth. The external reward is simply the manifestation of internal alignment. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And so the question becomes, who are you becoming in this season? Are you becoming someone who leads with integrity, even when no one is watching? Are you becoming someone who honors their word, even when it costs something? Are you becoming someone who walks in humility, even as they step into power? These are not small questions. These are the questions that determine whether you carry the blessing or whether the blessing crushes you. Power without character is dangerous. Authority without humility is destructive. Blessing without wisdom is wasted. But when you pair power with purpose, authority with service, and blessing with stewardship, you become unstoppable. Not because you force outcomes, but because you align with the divine flow. Not because you manipulate circumstances, but because you co-create with Source. Not because you perform, but because you become. And becoming is the whole point. The survival cycle taught you endurance. The wilderness taught you trust. The silence taught you to listen. And now, the manifestation cycle will teach you to lead. Not from ego, not from fear, not from lack, but from overflow, from center, from the deep well of inner authority that was forged in the fire you thought would destroy you. That fire did not destroy you. It refined you, it purified you, it prepared you, and now you are ready. Research in trauma psychology shows that post-traumatic growth is not just possible, it is common. Individuals who face significant adversity often emerge with greater compassion, deeper purpose, and clearer priorities. They do not just survive, they evolve. And in that evolution, they become capable of things they never imagined. This is your story. This is your season. This is your time. The reward that is coming is not just material. It is not just financial. It is not just relational. It is holistic. It touches every area of your life. It reorders every priority. It recalibrates every relationship. It repositions every part of you. You are not just receiving a blessing, you are becoming the blessing, and that is the greatest reward of all. If you have made it this far, subscribe now. This journey is just beginning, and the best is still ahead. So what does it mean to be a manifested legacy? It means you are no longer living only for yourself. You are living for the ones who could not make it this far. You are living for the ones who will come after you. You are living as proof that faithfulness is never wasted. Your story is not just yours. It belongs to the single mother who prayed for breakthrough. It belongs to the father who worked in silence. It belongs to the dreamer who refused to quit. It belongs to everyone who believed that something greater was possible, even when the evidence said otherwise. You are the answer to their prayers. You are the fruit of their sacrifice. You are the breakthrough they believed in but never saw. And now it is your turn to carry the torch, to hold the light, to lead the way. This is not pressure, this is honor. This is not burden, this is privilege. This is not obligation, this is calling. And the ones who understand this will rise. Not because they are perfect, not because they have it all figured out, but because they said yes when the call came. And they stayed faithful when the weight felt unbearable. You said yes. You stayed faithful. And now, the wait is over. But here is where the mystery deepens. The reward you are about to receive is not just compensation for what you endured. It is preparation for what you are about to become. The universe does not hand you resources without purpose. It does not open doors without direction. It does not elevate you without assignment. You are being entrusted with something precious. And with that trust comes responsibility. Not the heavy, burdensome kind, but the sacred kind. The kind that says, I was given much, so I will steward it well. I was lifted, so I will lift others. I was chosen, so I will honor the call. This is the transition point, the moment where survivor becomes leader, where wounded becomes healer, where the one who was carried now carries others. And it will not feel like a burden. It will feel like home, because this is what you were made for, not just to overcome, but to overflow, not just to receive, but to release, not just to be blessed, but to become a blessing. The ocean teaches this truth beautifully. The ocean never holds back its waves. It gives and gives and gives, and in the giving, it remains full, it remains powerful, it remains itself. You are entering your ocean season. The season where you give from overflow, not from depletion. The season where your presence alone shifts atmospheres. The season where your story becomes a lighthouse for others navigating dark waters. And the beauty of this season is that you will not have to force it. You will not have to perform it. You will simply be it. Because the transformation has already happened in the hidden place, in the valley, in the waiting, in the silence. Now, the world gets to see what was forged in secret. Early findings in positive psychology suggest that individuals who transition from trauma to purpose often report a sense of calling that feels both deeply personal and universally relevant. They describe their work, their relationships, and their choices as aligned with something greater than themselves. This is not delusion, this is integration. And you are integrating right now, every lesson, every scar, every moment of doubt, every moment of faith. It is all coming together into a coherent whole, a story that makes sense, a life that matters, a legacy that lasts. The generations that come after you will not remember the days you almost gave up. They will remember the day you chose to stay. They will not remember the nights you cried. They will remember the morning you rose. They will not remember the moments you felt weak. They will remember the strength you summoned when it mattered most. You are writing their future with the choices you make today, and the choices you make today are informed by the fire you walked through yesterday. This is the alchemy of the chosen, turning pain into power, turning waiting into wisdom, turning the valley into a vantage point. And from that vantage point you will see clearly, you will lead boldly, you will love deeply, and you will leave a mark that cannot be erased. Your comment matters. Share what part of this message hit home for you. Your voice helps shape the direction of future episodes, and I genuinely want to hear from you. Now, let us talk about the practical. Because spirituality without action is philosophy, and philosophy without embodiment is just noise. You need both the insight and the implementation, the vision and the steps, the calling and the courage to walk it out. So here is what November 8 looks like in real time. You wake up, and instead of dread, you feel anticipation. Instead of heaviness, you feel lightness. Instead of confusion, you feel clarity. You check your email, and there it is. The message you have been waiting for, the opportunity, the connection, the open door. But here is the test. Will you walk through it with gratitude or with entitlement? Will you receive it as grace or as something you earned? Will you steward it with humility or with pride? The answer to that question determines whether the blessing becomes a foundation or a stumbling block. November 9th is the day you stop asking for signs and start trusting what you already know. The fog lifts. The inner voice becomes unmistakable. You do not need external validation anymore. You do not need someone else to tell you that you are on the right path. You know, and that knowing becomes your compass. You will make decisions that day that will seem small, but will ripple into eternity. You will say no to what no longer serves. You will say yes to what aligns. You will release what weighs you down. You will embrace what lifts you up. And you will do it all with a calm confidence that can only come from divine clarity. November 10 is the day the people around you start to notice. They will not be able to name it, but they will feel it. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You move through space differently. And the atmosphere shifts because of it. Some will celebrate you. Others will question you. A few will resent you. And all of that is okay. Because you are no longer living for their approval. You are living for your assignment. And your assignment requires you to be faithful, not popular. The path clarifies as you walk. You do not need to see the entire journey. You just need to take the next step, and then the next, and then the next. And before you know it, you will look back and realize you have covered miles. You have crossed deserts, you have climbed mountains, and you did it one faithful step at a time. This is the way of the chosen, not dramatic leaps, but consistent, courageous steps. Not loud declarations, but quiet obedience. Not performative faith, but lived trust, and lived trust changes everything. Research in behavioral psychology indicates that consistent small actions compound over time in ways that large, sporadic efforts cannot. The brain builds neural pathways through repetition. Trust is not a single decision. It is 1,000 small decisions made over and over again until they become who you are. And you are becoming someone who trusts, someone who moves, someone who receives. Someone who leads. This is not who you were a year ago. This is not even who you were a month ago. You are evolving in real time. And the universe is responding to that evolution with open doors, clear direction, and undeniable favor. But favor is not the absence of challenge. Favor is the presence of grace in the middle of challenge. Favor is the strength to endure when others would quit. Favor is the wisdom to navigate when others would panic. Favor is the peace that passes understanding when circumstances say you should be afraid. You have that favor. It has been with you all along. You just did not always recognize it. But now you do. And now that you see it, you cannot unsee it. And now that you know it, you cannot unknow it. You are favored. You are chosen. You are called. And you are ready. The final invitation is this. Step fully into the season that has been prepared for you. Stop hesitating. Stop second-guessing. Stop waiting for permission. The permission has been granted. The door has been opened. The path has been cleared. All that is left is for you to walk. And when you walk, you will not walk alone. The ancestors walk with you. The generations walk with you. The divine walks with you. And the ones who are watching, hoping, believing that breakthrough is possible, they walk with you too. You are not just living your story, you are carrying theirs. And that is the weight and the glory of being chosen. So walk with your head high, walk with your heart open, walk with your hands ready to receive and ready to give. Walk knowing that every step is sacred, every breath is a gift, every moment is an opportunity to co-create with the divine. This is your moment, this is your season, this is your time. The wait is over, the reward is here. The manifestation has begun. Now everything starts, and everything starts with you. There is something sacred happening in this moment, not just for you, but through you. The veil between what was and what is becoming grows thin, and in that thinness, miracles take root. Consider the seed. It lies dormant in soil, unseen, seemingly inactive. For weeks, for months, nothing appears to happen, and then, without warning, green breaks through. Not because the seed suddenly decided to grow, but because conditions aligned, timing matured, and what was always possible finally had the environment to flourish. You are that seed. November 8th, 9th, and 10 are not just dates on a calendar. They are the breaking point. The moment when what has been growing in secret finally pushes through the surface for all to see. And the magnificent part? You did not need to force it. You did not need to manipulate it. You simply remained faithful. You remained present. You remained willing. And that was enough. This is the essence of divine timing. It is not about rushing or forcing. It is about alignment. It is about showing up as your truest self and allowing the universe to orchestrate what only the divine can orchestrate. Many voices will try to convince you that this is coincidence, that timing is luck, that breakthrough is accident. Do not believe them. Everything that is happening now was set in motion long ago. You have been moving toward this moment your entire life. And this moment has been moving toward you. The universe does not operate on the timeline of the hurried. It operates on the timeline of the true. And what is true eventually always surfaces. What is real eventually always wins. What is yours eventually always finds you. So trust the dates. Trust the season, trust the call that led you here, to this exact message at this exact time. Because there are no coincidences, there is only divine orchestration. And you are part of that orchestration in ways you are only beginning to understand. Like and subscribe if you feel the truth of this settling into your bones. Let me know in the comments what shifts you are already beginning to notice. The deeper truth is this. You have already crossed the threshold. You may not realize it yet. You may still be looking back at the old landscape, mourning what you left behind. But you have crossed it. The old season is over. The new one has begun. November 8th does not create the opening. It reveals it. November 9 does not bring clarity. It unveils it. November 10 does not shift the atmosphere. It makes visible what has already shifted. Everything that is about to unfold was prepared in the hidden place. In the seasons when you did not see victory, in the moments when you felt forgotten, in the nights when you questioned everything, those were not wasted moments. They were preparation moments. They were the forge where your character was strengthened. They were the wilderness where your faith was tested and proven true.